pesto is a really amazing option for an easy dinner, even if you don't have a food processor. So I'm going to show you how to make a chopping board pesto, which is actually special for my friend Roxanne, who doesn't have a food processor, and asked me specifically for a pesto recipe that didn't require a food processor. So we're going to start with garlic. We're going to put it on the board, and then we're going to start with salt. And this is really important, and I'll explain it in a second. A little bit of pepper. Again, I'm not a big fan of black pepper, so I'm not going to use a ton. Ooh, that thing requires some muscle. Alrighty, so now you can do this with a whole clove of garlic. I like to start out chopped because it requires a little less work. So the reason you put the salt down first is because the salt actually acts like sandpaper. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our knife and we're going to crush it like this. And we're literally scraping. And then we're going to like bring it all back together. And we're going to scrape it some more. Just crush. Oop. I should have put a little thing underneath my cutting board. See, this is what happens when you're not prepared. So always have a little pushy thing underneath your cutting board to keep it from slipping around. So we're going to just keep sliding around like this. And the point is to crush the garlic and not get it on our apron strings. And we're going to do this and just kind of mash it. You're mashing it together. And what's happening is the salt is acting like sandpaper on the garlic so that it kind of helps mush it up a little bit more. It like grates it down. Alrighty. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a handful of this basil. So this is going to be like a standard basil pine nut pesto, but you can do this with anything. You can do this with any green you want, any nut you want. You can actually do a blend. I love a really good like 50% parsley, 50% arugula pesto. I think it's tasty. It's got a little bit of bitter, a lot of green, especially with Parmesan cheese and garlic. It sings. It's incredible. So we're going to put these in a big pile, and we're just going to chop. On the tip of your knife should be on the cutting board, and you're just going to chop like this. You're going to take it down, turn the pile, and chop some more. Ta-da. We're going to add some more basil. We're adding it in handfuls as opposed to all at once, because if you're trying to chop like an enormous freaking pile of basil, like it's just not going to happen. It's going to fall all over the place, and you'll smell really good in the end though. We're going to keep chopping. Pile and ball it back up together, turn the pile, chop, chop, chop. And now we're going to add the rest of our basil. There's not very much left. Boop. Back into a pile. You can kind of muscle it into a pile if you want, like mush it so that it's more stationary. And just keep chopping. You know, there's that movie with the fish, Finding Nemo, like Dory, keep swimming, just keep chopping. Keep chopping, and you're going to keep chopping basically till it's a texture that you like. Turn the pile. You want to make sure that you're getting all of the leaves. So if you notice there's any leaves that maybe aren't being chopped, like this guy has escaped, this guy has escaped, this guy has escaped, I'm going to put those on the top with a couple of others that are on here. Whoop. Now we're just going to keep chopping. Chop, chop, chop. And we're going to keep going until it's pretty coarse. We don't want it to be completely chopped just yet because we still have to add a few more things. There you go. Got a couple more pieces that don't want to chop. You think you've escaped. Alrighty. We're going to add our pine nuts. We're going to put those kind of right in the middle. And guess what? We're going to keep chopping. So keep chopping. And this is, you know, it's really easy to do. It does require a little bit of elbow grease. And you keep chopping. You'll find that the pine nuts don't really chop so much because they're small, so they slip away from the knife, which is fine. The reason we're using pine nuts in this recipe is because they're pretty small, so even if they don't get chopped, they're still fine. And one thing to know is that a chopping board pesto is always going to be coarser than something that you make in a food processor. It'll never be creamy. That's just not what this is. This is a more traditional dish. This is like a traditional Italian dish. Like this is what country people would eat. And it's never going to be like that high-end, beautiful, creamy pesto like we made in the food processor. But that's fine because it's not supposed to be like that. This is all the pesto flavors, but it's going to be a little different. So we're still chopping. Still chopping. And now we're gonna add a little bit of olive oil. Make sure the lid's on there. And we're gonna just drizzle on, not a whole lot, maybe a tablespoon. This is actually really gonna bring the whole thing together. Let's wipe off our knives. And you really need to make sure that your knife is sharp for this, right? Because if your knife isn't sharp, it's just gonna mush this basil into like sludge, and that's not great. Like this dish especially needs a really sharp dish, or a really sharp knife, because these like little leaves need to be sliced and not mushed. If you mush them, then you're actually just gonna end up with a green puddle on your cutting board. And that's actually the good stuff that you want in your pesto. You don't want it on the cutting board. And keep going. Chop, 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 chop. I think this is gonna need a little more olive oil. We don't want it to be too oily because then it'll just run off the cutting board, and that's no fun. One thing you want to remember about making a chopping board pesto is when adding the oil to just do a little at a time. Because once there's too much oil in there, it's actually really hard to extract it. Like you can pour it off, but so much of the flavor compounds like get absorbed into the oil. So any oil that you pour off, if you add too much, is going to be taking flavor with it. Alrighty. That looks good. I'm going to add a little bit of lemon because that's how I roll. Doop. And we're going to chop some more because that's the name of the game for this dish. Chop, 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 chop. And now we're going to taste. Well, let's see how this goes. I should have grabbed a tasting spoon. It's really good. Actually, needs a little bit more salt, but not much. And it's plenty of lemon. Even these little tiny lemons. One thing to keep in mind when making this is you're generally working in smaller quantities. Like when we do a food processor pesto, there's a lot of like greens in there, a lot of basil or a lot of parsley. Because we're working with a smaller amount here, you're not gonna need as much salt, you're not gonna need as much lemon. So this was a really tiny lemon, so it didn't have a lot of juice in it. If that was a full-size lemon, you probably wouldn't use like the juice from half a lemon, you'd probably use like a quarter. And we're gonna chop some more. And one more taste. Oh, that's really good. Alrighty, give me 1 second and I'll show you what to do with it. Alrighty, we've got our chopping board pesto and we've got our pasta. And this is super simple. You just scoop it on in and give it a toss. Usually a big spoon works for this. Move it around, kind of get it intermingled in there. And it's just a beautiful dish. Like it looks really nice. It looks kind of rustic. It has that kind of like Mediterranean, like garden party feel. I really love chopping board pesto.